Basim sat in his dimly lit apartment, the soft hum of his computer fan blending with the faint sound of the city outside. The night had stretched into early morning again, like most nights did. Living alone in a small one-bedroom flat in Chicago, he had grown used to silence. But sometimes that silence felt heavier than the walls themselves. Basim was 26, a quiet man with curious eyes and a restless mind. His friends were few, his family oceans away, and the internet had become his only company. He loved exploring the hidden corners of forums, conspiracy theories, unsolved crimes, and the kind of mysteries that made your skin crawl. That's when he stumbled upon a post titled, "See What They Don't Want You to See, The Real Internet." He hesitated before clicking it. The thread was filled with stories about the dark web, a hidden network beyond the normal internet. People claimed it was where the truth lived, a place untouched by censorship, where secrets of governments and corporations were exposed. Basim leaned closer to the screen, his heart beating faster. "Use Tor," one comment read. "That's the key. But once you go in, don't go too deep." He smiled nervously. Warnings like that only made him more curious. An hour later, the Tor browser was installed. His lights were off, the blinds shut, and his screen glowed like a portal to another world. He entered a random .onion link he found on the forum and pressed enter. At first, it seemed empty, slow-loading pages, strange codes, and broken images. But then, a page appeared with a blood-red header that read, "Welcome to the Deep." Basim scrolled. Lists of strange marketplaces appeared: drugs, weapons, hacked credit cards, fake passports, and encrypted chat rooms with names like the Red Hall and Dark Truth. His stomach turned, but curiosity pulled him deeper. In one chat room, users talked about red rooms, live streams of torture for money. Another claimed there were government insiders selling documents about alien research. It felt unreal, like stepping into a nightmare made of code. Then a private message appeared on his screen. "Spectre01, you shouldn't be here." Basim froze. He hadn't told anyone his username. Before he could reply, another message arrived. "They're watching you already. Disconnect." The message disappeared. The page refreshed by itself. The words "access denied" filled the screen. Basim shut his laptop, his hands trembling. The silence in his apartment felt heavier than ever, as if something was now watching him through the dark. He tried to laugh it off, but a small voice in his mind whispered the truth. Maybe he had just opened a door that should have stayed locked. Basim couldn't sleep that night. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw the words again, "You shouldn't be here. They're watching you already." By morning, his mind was foggy, but his curiosity burned even stronger. Who was Spectre01? How had they found him so fast? Maybe it was just a prank, someone messing with newcomers on the dark web. By evening, Basim gave in. He opened his laptop again, took a deep breath, and launched Tor. This time, he didn't wander. He went straight back to the page that had welcomed him before. "Welcome to the Deep." Only now, a new link appeared at the bottom of the page. "The Hidden Bazaar." Something about it felt official, like it wasn't a random user-made site, but something organized. His pulse quickened as he clicked it. The screen went black for several seconds, then slowly loaded an interface that looked like an old-fashioned marketplace. Rows of listings appeared, written in strange codes and currencies. Lot 23, medical samples, verified. Lot 45, rare chemicals, full shipment. Lot 66, live merchandise, international. Basim's stomach twisted. Live merchandise? He scrolled faster, trying to ignore the implications. Then he noticed a section labeled Exclusive Streams. The descriptions made his blood run cold. Private Red Room access. Bid required. Corruption tapes. Proof of government involvement. U.S. operations leak. Verified insider footage. Basim leaned back, heart pounding. This couldn't be real. Maybe it was all fake, just horror for shock value. Still, he took a screenshot, just in case. That's when the chat window blinked again. Spectre01, you came back? Basim's fingers hovered above the keyboard. Basim, who are you? Spectre01, someone trying to save you. Basim, from what? Spectre01, from them. You think you're watching them, but they're watching you. Basim stared at the message, confused. He typed back, Basim, "I don't understand." No response. Then, without warning, the entire page froze. The listings disappeared, replaced by a black background and a single sentence in red. "You've been logged." Basim yanked the plug from the wall, his heart racing. The laptop screen went black, but his reflection stared back at him, pale, terrified, and bathed in the glow of the city lights, seeping through his blinds. He stood up, trying to calm himself, when his phone buzzed. A new message from an unknown number. "We told you not to look." He dropped the phone. His breath caught in his chest. There was no way anyone could have known. No one knew his number. No one but... He looked back at his laptop. Its screen had turned on again, though it was still unplugged. The same words appeared once more. "Welcome to the family, Basim." The next morning, Basim sat frozen on his couch, staring at his silent laptop. He hadn't slept. Every creak of the building, every sound from the street below made his heart jump. He told himself it was just a hacker trying to scare him, some twisted joke. But deep down, he knew something had crossed the line. He made coffee with shaking hands and opened his email, hoping to distract himself. At the top of his inbox sat a new message. No sender. No subject. He hesitated, then clicked. Inside was one short line. "You were inside the hidden bazaar. We know your IP. You work for us now." Attached to the email was a photo, a clear shot of his apartment building taken from across the street. Basim's breath caught. Someone had been outside his home. He jumped to the window, scanning the street below. Just ordinary cars, people walking dogs, a mail truck, nothing unusual. But it didn't matter. The message was real. He slammed his laptop shut and grabbed his phone, dialing 911. "Chicago Police Department, what's your emergency?" "There's someone watching me. I'm being threatened." "Sir, calm down." "Who's threatening you?" "The dark web, people online. They sent me a picture of my building." A pause. "Sir, if it's an online scam, we recommend..." "It's not a scam." Basim shouted. "They know where I live." But the operator's voice stayed calm, polite. "Empty. We'll file a report. Sir, stay safe." He hung up, shaking. No one would believe him. That night, as he tried to sleep, his laptop powered on by itself again. The startup chime echoed through the dark room. Slowly, the screen turned black. Then a video began to play. It was grainy footage, men in black masks around a warehouse table, stacks of money, guns, and strange packages. A distorted voice spoke through the speakers. "Welcome to the family, Basim." The camera shifted. One of the masked men looked directly at the lens, and for a split second, Basim swore he saw his own reflection in the background of the shot, as if the footage was being recorded live, right then. He scrambled to unplug the laptop again, but the voice returned through the speakers, louder now. "You opened the door. Now you can't close it." Then silence. Basim's phone buzzed on the table. Another unknown message. "Tomorrow, 9 p.m. deliver what we send. Don't tell anyone." Attached was a single icon, a small digital envelope, locked with a red encryption seal. Basim's trembling finger hovered over it, but he couldn't bring himself to open it. He knew, in that moment, his life had changed forever. And somewhere, out there in the dark, someone was watching, waiting for him to make his next move. The day passed in silence. Basim didn't leave his apartment, didn't eat, barely moved. The encrypted file still sat on his laptop, pulsing like a heartbeat, waiting to be opened. At exactly 9 p.m., his screen flickered on by itself. The file unlocked. A message appeared in white text over a black background. "Deliver the flash drive to Cafe Vantage, downtown. Leave it under table 7. No police." Then, a loading bar appeared. His webcam light blinked once. A small USB drive icon flashed, and his laptop's port ejected a new device, his own USB that had been plugged in earlier. The file had copied itself onto it. Basim's hands trembled as he stared at the drive. He didn't know what was on it, and he didn't want to, but he was too scared to disobey. By midnight, he was outside. Chicago's streets glistened with cold rain, the air thick with fog. He kept his hoodie up, clutching the USB drive in his pocket. Every passing car made him flinch. When he reached Cafe Vantage, the lights were dim, almost empty except for two baristas and a few late-night customers. He sat at table 7. His fingers shook as he slid the flash drive underneath. 10 seconds later, a man in a gray coat entered. No eye contact, no words. He sat briefly, retrieved the USB, and walked out. Basim exhaled in relief. Maybe that was it. Maybe it was over. He stood up, ready to leave, and that's when the sound of screeching tires filled the street outside. Black SUVs. Their doors burst open. FBI agents stormed inside, guns drawn. Everyone down. Federal investigation. Basim froze. One of the agents grabbed him by the arm and slammed him to the ground. "Basim Khalid?" the man shouted. "Why, yes. What's happening? You're under arrest for involvement with an international cybercrime organization." Basim's vision spun. The agents tore through the cafe, seizing laptops, phones, anything electronic. Through the chaos, he saw the man in the gray coat being dragged outside in handcuffs. The flash drive lay on the floor, cracked in half. In the confusion, Basim bolted. He shoved an agent, darted out the side door, and disappeared into the rain. He didn't stop running until he reached an alley behind a warehouse, chest heaving. He hid there for hours, soaked, terrified, his mind spinning. The FBI thought he was part of the mafia. The mafia thought he betrayed them. There was no way out. His phone buzzed again. Unknown number. He almost threw it away, but curiosity, that same poison that started it all, made him look. Spectre 01 Inch. You've been caught in their war. If you want to live, disappear now. Basim typed back with trembling hands. Basim. Who are you? FBI? Mafia? Spectre 01. Neither, but both want you dead. The typing indicator blinked again and one final message appeared. I can help you vanish, but it'll cost everything. Basim looked up at the rain falling through the streetlight haze, realized his life as he knew it was gone. He wasn't just a bystander anymore. He was inside the system, and both sides wanted his silence. Basim vanished into the night. He traded his phone for cash, cut his hair, and left his apartment behind. By morning, he was just another face among the restless crowds of downtown Chicago, tired, unshaven, invisible. But he knew invisibility wouldn't last. Both the Mafia and the FBI had his name, his face, his digital fingerprints. Every camera on every street corner felt like an eye watching him. He moved from cheap motels to abandoned apartments, never staying in one place for more than a day. He paid only in cash, using fake IDs he bought from a man in a grimy basement. Every time he handed over money, he half expected someone to grab him. He couldn't open his laptop anymore. He couldn't trust any device. Sometimes, when he turned on TV, his image flashed for a second like a glitch. His mind couldn't tell what was real anymore. Then, one morning, while drinking cheap coffee at a diner, the TV above the counter caught his attention. A news reporter stood in front of an FBI building. Federal investigators have identified a foreign national, Basim Khalid, as a key suspect in the cyber crimes linked to a dark web organization responsible for smuggling, money laundering, and political corruption. Basim's stomach dropped. His photo appeared on the screen, the same picture from his university ID. The caption read, "Wanted for cyber terrorism and collusion with organized crime." The waitress looked up at the screen, then at him. Basim pulled his hood lower and slipped out the back door before she could say a word. He ran until his lungs burned. How could the FBI twist everything? He was the victim. He was the one being hunted. By nightfall, he found himself in an abandoned warehouse near the edge of town, using a stranger's stolen phone to access an encrypted app. There, he saw a familiar username glowing on the screen. Spectre 01. You're on every list now. The FBI wants to use you. The Mafia wants to bury you. There's only one way out. Basim typed quickly, fingers trembling. Basim, what do you want from me? Spectre 01. I want to help you destroy both of them. Basim stared at the message. His fear twisted into something sharper, anger. They had ruined his life, painted him as a criminal, turned his world into a nightmare. Basim, tell me how. A moment later, a new file appeared on the screen. The title read, Operation Blackline, Government X Syndicate Partnership. It contained secret documents, audio logs, and surveillance photos. Proof that the FBI and the mafia were working together, manipulating dark web networks for political gain. Basim's pulse raced. If this was real, it was bigger than anything he'd imagined. Spectre 01. Expose them, upload it all, or vanish forever. Basim looked around the dark warehouse. Outside, sirens echoed in the distance. He knew they were closing in one side or the other. He zipped up his jacket, pocketed the flash drive, and whispered to himself, "No more running." For the first time in weeks, he wasn't afraid. He had something both sides wanted, the truth, and the truth could burn them all. Basim sat in the dim light of the warehouse, rain drumming against the broken windows. The flash drive glowed faintly in his hand, a small piece of metal holding the weight of two worlds, the mafia and the FBI, bound by corruption, lies, and greed. He had two choices: expose them and live as a fugitive, or destroy everything and disappear forever. His heart raced as he connected an old laptop to a stolen network. The files inside the flash drive opened like veins of poison, recorded conversations, secret payments, murder orders, political blackmail. There it was, proof that the mafia and the government were partners in the shadows. Basim's reflection flickered in the dark screen. He whispered, "You ruined my life. Now I'll ruin yours." He uploaded everything. First to hidden servers on the dark web, then to public channels, then to major journalists. Within minutes, his story spread like wildfire. Dark web whistleblower exposes FBI Mafia alliance. He knew they would trace it back to him. There was no escape from what he had done. As dawn approached, he heard the faint hum of engines outside. 2 black SUVs. Headlights cut through the rain. He grabbed his backpack and ran to the side exit, darting between alleys, heart hammering. Behind him, gunshots echoed quick, silence bursts. Basim dug behind a dumpster, clutching the drive to his chest. He knew the agents weren't there to arrest him. They were there to erase him. Suddenly, his phone buzzed. A message from Spectre. 01 lit up the cracked screen. "You did it. The files are live. The world knows. Now disappear." Basim typed quickly. "Who are you, really?" A long pause. Then, "Someone who used to believe in the system. Don't make the same mistake." The message vanished, deleted automatically. Basim looked around. The street was empty now, the rain falling harder. He walked until the city lights faded behind him, until he reached the bus terminal. He bought a one-way ticket under a fake name. No luggage, no ID. As the bus pulled away, he looked out the window at the skyline, the city that had turned him into a ghost. Days later, across every news channel in America, anchors read the story aloud. Massive corruption scandal. FBI and criminal networks exposed. But no one ever found a man who leaked it. Some said he fled to South America. Others claimed he was killed before leaving Chicago. And once a year, when the digital underground shifts, a new anonymous account appears for just one night. Spectre 02. He never speaks, never posts. He only logs in long enough to type 2 words on a silent dark web forum. Still watching.